Welcome back to the Pat and Play podcast. It is episode 15. We got Jude and we've got Vaughn this evening. Happy Monday, folks. Lovely start to the week. Thank you for being here, guys. As always, it was a pretty lively weekend. Lots to talk about. Not so much time to do it in, but we'll make it work. Why don't we start with the usual segment? So we always kick off, as you guys know by now, with some stocks rising and some stocks falling. So why don't we start with stocks rising? Judy, what are we saying for this weekend? What is your stock rising?
So I think from the last episode, I think I sold stocks prematurely because my stocks rising is what my stocks falling was in the last episode, and that is Enzo Maresca's in-game management. I did sell too early because I think it's always tough for a manager to manage a team that is a man down. Not every manager plans to have a man sent off. But I think his in-game management in the Liverpool game was fantastic. The subs that he made, the rotation that he made, putting Reece James at centre-back, in bringing Romeo Lavia in. I think all his substitutions in the Liverpool game was spot on. Yeah. Props to Enzo Maresca. He fully deserved to pull a Mourinho and run down the touchline and give himself as a sacrifice for the normal red card that Chelsea gets nowadays in Red Card FC, I guess.
You had to have one.
So, yeah, I had to have a red card. This time it was the manager.
I was going to ask you if his management of the game to avoid a red card was to sacrifice himself.
That's exactly what he did.
Man, sacrificial lamb. Yeah. Fawn, what are we saying? What's your stocks rising this week?
Stocks rising this week is Bournemouth. Ben Doak with such a stunning assist. I mean, he shocked himself, and Semenyo is just, I think I said it after the first game of the season when we played Bournemouth, that I kind of wish we would have signed him instead of Isak. But yeah, just after the start that he had to the season with the racist chants and all of that stuff, and just he's delivering week in and week out, and I just think he's looking so good. And I love watching people that love playing football and enjoying their football. And yeah, I'm investing stocks in him this week again.
Lovely. Yeah.
Bournemouth in general have been looking fantastic in terms of just watching them.
Yeah.
They're an amazing team at the moment.
I have to eat my words because earlier on in the season, I predicted them as one of the sort of clubs who were really going to struggle this year with all the players who got sold. But yeah, no, wow, what a player! What a player.
I mean, they were basically gutted with their
defense.
Yeah,
the defense was ripped apart.
Well, I mean, you don't need a great defense when you're scoring that many goals. So
fair enough.
Right?
When you got Justin Kluivert and Antoine Semenyo, it's a decent start up front. But also, I think Utara is turning out to be a pretty smart acquisition from Brentford. Still surprised that move happened, but he wasn't very happy at Brentford. But yeah, and then they've got that Evan Nilsson character up top, who I really do rate, even if he's having a sort of iffy start to the season. But yeah, good stocks rising. That mine is City, and my stock rising is City, not because I think that they were outstanding against Brentford, because really a 1-0 win, and we'll talk about it in a bit, isn't that impressive. But I just think Haaland is a sickness, man. Like he's a disease in my mind, because he just, every time I think City aren't going to be a problem and I'm looking over at Liverpool going, okay, let's go into the ring. They're there just standing, watching the whole discourse go on around Arsenal and Liverpool, and they're quietly racking up the points and making it look easy. And they have a striker who really does make it look easy. So yeah, my stocks rise for City this week after being a bit conservative on City for the first 7 game weeks really of this season. Where are we taking our money this week? Where are we running away from? Vaughn, why don't you kick us off with stocks falling this week?
Okay. I have an unusual stocks falling. I know what you guys want me to say, but I'm not going to say it. Like, stop, take the smile off your face, Duty. It's not coming.
I don't know what you're going to say.
My stocks falling are some football fans. I'm going with some Leeds United football fans for throwing stuff onto the pitch. I don't think it's okay. Who was it? Was it Kudos that scored for Spurs, went to go do his little traditional sitting on the bench celebration? They threw a water bottle at him, which missed him by inches. And then they also threw a vape at, I can't remember who it was. And he actually picked up the vape, took a puff, showed the referee, and then threw it away. I mean, guys, like, let's not throw stuff at players. It's not okay, whether it's your own players or visiting clubs players. I think that's behavior that we don't want in the Premier League, and we don't want as humans. Like, let's not throw things at people. It's just stupid. And the second bunch of fans that I am removing my stocks from very hard is some fake Liverpool fans that are calling for slot out. I think you guys are stupid. I think you guys don't watch football. And I think you are the plastic fans who have just joined us on the Klopp journey. And you wear your shirts and you just want to wear your shirt when we win. And like Shank said, if you can't support us when you lose, or when we lose, you can't support us when we win. So guys that are calling for slot out, calm down, rewatch some football, and then let's have a conversation.
There we go.
Yeah. My stock's falling. Nottingham Forest, man. I don't know if anyone is...
that was mine.
I don't know if anyone's touched on Nottingham Forest.
I did like 2 podcasts ago, but yeah.
After this result this weekend, I had a look at their form just in general. They haven't won since the opening day of the season, like in all competition. And I think, maybe their owner obviously has a big hand in maybe why they're in the position that they're in. Getting rid of Nuno, I think they had such a good thing going with Espirito Santo. Just removing him has rattled everything about the club. Like, I'm not as fearful of them anymore because, Postecoglou, I'm never scared of Postecoglou. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, I fear for them.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was going to be my stocks falling, so now I have to think on my feet and come up with something while I'm saying this rambling nonsense.
Sorry.
Can I just buffer then, in the meantime? I think the fact that the fans never got on board with the Ange appointment either. They've been singing for the past 3 games, sacked in the morning. So the fans aren't standing by Nottingham Forest. They're not standing by the appointment of Ange. And I think they're taking it out on their players, which is also demoralizing, regardless of the fact that their goalkeeper had an amazing game. But
I think they're disappointed because, there wasn't a real reason why, or it wasn't a performance thing that Nuno got sacked. It was, egos going head to head.
Better.
Yeah, and Nuno, he created a Forest side that, like, I was always afraid of playing Forest with Nuno at the helm, but it's no longer the case, unfortunately for Forest fans.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready. I think I'm gonna, it may be a bit controversial, but I've been very calm on the Salah discourse, which has been on this podcast, but also in the mainstream media, really. I watched the game, and I feel the reason my stock falling is Mo Salah, and why I was careful about doing this earlier is I just think that the best players sometimes warm up in a season, and they almost, like City, kind of every year, City do this. They take 4 or 5 games to sort of get to 5th gear, and then they enter a sort of a zone where you just know it. It's like every game it's going to be a goal or an assist, or multiple goals or multiple assists. And Salah has been so frequently like that, but not needing really much ramp-up time at the beginning of a season. Often, what is he? He has that crazy record for scoring on the opening day or something. And yet, what I saw wasn't really Salah being off, in the sense of he's making lots of bad sort of executions on the right idea. What I saw in this game was the wrong idea, where cutting in and shooting when there were really clearly obvious passes on for Liverpool players, and there were some fantastic runs made, to be honest, by some of the Liverpool players, and they looked a little bit frustrated a few times, to be honest, which is unusual in the Liverpool team. Generally, the the sort of demeanor of all the players is very good in the Liverpool team on the pitch. But I saw a couple of frustrated sort of like shrugs from Isak, and in the second half, I just felt like Salah's face exhibited the disappointment in his own performance. He was kind of like, oh my word, what is going on now? Like, this is actually getting ridiculous. Why did that ball just scoot off my foot and go flying over? And I think he looks a little bit surprised by his output. And Liverpool need the Salah of last year and the year before right now. It's one of those moments where a little bit backs against the wall. The media are loving it. Everyone's digging in, putting the knife in. This is the moment where you need your best players to come through and rock. And he's not rocking yet. So I think that's my stocks falling probably for this week. But I would say that actually takes us into the Arsenal go top as Liverpool tumble headline, which I have really. And I think let's start off actually by talking about Liverpool instead of Arsenal. Let's reverse it. Let's start with the game that started first because it set the tone for the weekend, I think. So Arsenal won the 2-0 against West Ham at home. It was a bit of a weird game. To be honest, we strangle games where the other team doesn't get an opportunity. So West Ham's XG was 0.4 again. Ours was 3, I think, or 2.5, something like that. We had all the good opportunities. We had all of the chances. But it wasn't electric. It wasn't very good to watch. It was very, dare I say it, a bit boring at times. We got the victory, and in no small part because of Zubimendi, who wasn't even supposed to be playing. He was being given every main midfielder in Arteta's squad gets a half off at the moment, or a game off every few games, like Rice last week. And then Odegaard goes down in a crumple again, and Zubi's on the pitch, and within 10 minutes or so, he shows his worth. He puts a lovely pass into Eze, who takes a shot, comes out, Rice bangs it in. Rice doesn't celebrate despite the West Ham fans giving him so much grief over the last few years. I don't know why he bothers. But then we did what Arsenal have been doing all the time, and it's like this weird cruise control where we don't really kill off a team. It remains 1-0 for quite a lot of the game, and then we get the confirmation goal late in the game. And I shouldn't complain. I got a clean sheet. We got a 2-0 win. But my complaint is we seem to score one and then cruise at the moment. And I don't think you can do that in the Premier League. There will come a time when they'll just come and counterpunch, and then it'll be 1-1. And we'll be like, what? We've got 3.5 XG. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, it doesn't matter. XG isn't what's on the score sheet. So it was a good win, and I was glad to go top. But I think seeing Odegaard go down, not great. And yeah, I think the international break comes at a good time for us, actually, just to take stock and maybe get a few people fit. Any thoughts on the Arsenal game? Did either of you guys manage to catch the game?
Do you think that maybe that killer instinct to kill off games was kind of missing from this particular one, just because maybe Arsenal were a little bit cautious about a relatively unknown kind of West Ham with Nuno coming in, so playing very cautiously as not to allow a 1-1 to happen, and eventually killing the game off at the end.
It's a good question. West Ham have been a bit of a bogey team, just in the sense that we lost to them at Emirates last season, and then we lost at the Emirates the season before, which is pretty disgusting results against West Ham, both in league seasons where, okay, last season we didn't compete. Liverpool walked it really. We were terrible. But the season before, we were supposed to win the league, and then West Ham was one of the results we lost. I hear what you're saying, Jude. I just feel it's very similar to Port Vale when we won 2-0. It's very similar to Athletic Club when we win 2-0. We've had a lot of 2-0 results lately where we score the first goal in the first 20 minutes and then we can't quite get a 2-3
to kill the game off.
Yeah, dude. And we kind of make it a bit nervy for ourselves. And we end up bringing on the big players who are probably intended to stay on the bench and rest up. And then we bring on Saka against Port Vale, that type of thing, So I would like more goals, but it's probably not a valid thing to be losing my shit about right now when
We're getting results at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's probably fair to say that the defense, like, again, another clean sheet. And if I saw a stat saying if we can continue to concede at the rate we're conceding, Arsenal will end up with 15 goals conceded at the end of the season, which is the Mourinho record, of course, Judy, that you're well familiar
I know.
with.
Yeah.
You know. 2004, 2005, and it's not going to happen. This league is too unpredictable. We will go through a period where we concede a lot more goals, but defenses win titles sometimes, and I think this is the foundation for Arsenal's push or title challenge this season, if we end up staging one, and it is very, very early to say anything about that. What do we then think about the Chelsea-Liverpool game, Jude?
Before we get it, I just wanted to ask you about Arsenal's background and their medical. Do you think that they need to invest a little bit more in their medical side? Because your recurring injuries is a problem. Saka gets injured quite often, and it's the same hamstring all the time. So I'm wondering, and like now Odegaard has gone down, I think it's 3 games in a row in the first half. I think that's a new record or something to that effect. Are you bringing your players back too quickly?
God, what a good question. What a good question, Bon. We had a guy called Gary O'Driscoll who was head of the medical department, and he left for Man United to head up their sports science something or other. I don't know if it's as simple as personnel, but like, you are right to identify something weird. Against Newcastle, that was the first game of the season which we didn't lose a player to injury, and then the next game, Odegaard falls over again for the 3rd time this season. Are we rushing people back too early? Are the training routines too intense? Is it the gameplay of Arteta's Arsenal that we press all the time and we're so, duel? I don't know, but I hear you. Like, we have an NFL-sized squad at the moment, and yet we need it because people just sort of, it's a production line of injuries right now. So I don't know what the deal is, but if there's any sports science people out there listening to the podcast and you got a couple ideas, please do drop a comment either on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. We'd love to hear your thoughts about what the heck is going on there.
Yeah.
Fawn, why don't you lead us into a chat about the Liverpool-Chelsea game? What are your thoughts about it, the result, how you played, any topics really?
Do I have to?
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I was just here for the vibes, guys. I was just here for the vibes. Well done to Chelsea. Really, really well done. Again, completely outplayed us. There are a lot of talking points that have come out on social media and people now breaking down the game and where things that they think went wrong. At the end of the day, decisions were made, some wrong, some right, and we've got to live with it. It has been a really, really tough week for Liverpool. I mean, losing 3 games in a row is not something I'm used to. I've experienced it before. Like, I think it was 2023 that we did it last. It's not a feeling I'm used to anymore. So yes, it is disappointing. It is frustrating, but I don't think it's time to panic just yet. I think it's time to reassess, go back to the drawing board, calm down, and relook at ideas. But I don't think it's panic mode as a lot of people are doing. I think this international break has come at the perfect time for us. It's the first time in a very, very long time that I'm actually happy to have an international break. It's good for the players to go back, take their minds and their physical bodies out of the situation, think about something else, and then come back refreshed. I think it's also great for Slot to maybe go back home for a little bit. I know last season, I don't know if it's the same this season, but his wife and his kids still live in the Netherlands. So he goes to visit them during international breaks and just reassesses everything, grounds himself a little bit more, rethinks, comes back. I'm not going to make excuses for the team. At the end of the day, they made some really, really bad decisions. And it's almost as if you can pinpoint the 50-50 decisions that they made that resulted in the goals. I was watching a different podcast called Red Man TV. It's also a really, really great podcast if anyone wants to see it. And I'll find the clip and I'll post it onto my social media if anyone wants to see it. and I'll tag pattern play in it and then maybe. But they're talking about how Arne Slot's team is in a formation that is a little bit weird right now. So they break it down to Arne likes to let players play in a position that they want to play in. So he allows them that freedom of leaving the position that he starts you in and flowing into a position that you would like to be in. But unfortunately, with the team that we're playing at the moment, everyone barring Virgil, Ibu, and Ali, or now Georgie, is sitting in our half, and the rest of your players are in the box, which eradicates an entire midfield. So that's where you're left open. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with a low block, which we are 99% of the time, you need a midfield. You need strong midfielders that are going to throw in the high balls so that you can get over the low block. But when you've got your players all in your 9-yard area or your 18-yard area in your penalty box, those balls aren't going to come in. So you're relying on Verge and Ibu. Ibu generally runs the ball in. Verge tries to get the cross in, generally to Salah, and Ali to get those long balls in, which I think is a contributing factor as to why Alisson now has a hamstring injury, because he's been lofting those balls in. So yes, I know it was running back to defend a very, very badly placed Ibu ball, but all of those long balls that he's not used to putting in, and yes, it might be a conditioning thing, but he's got a hamstring injury. He's got a hamstring problem. And with hamstring injuries, once you have that injury, it's going to be reoccurring unless you balance it a little bit more. At the end of the day, Chelsea found a weak link, I want to say almost, when it comes to the fact that Salah doesn't track back and defend. And yes, he's been given leeway to do that. Last season, he had a very, very loud conversation, and he was very open about it, that he told Slot, don't make me defend, and I'll play. I'll get you those goals. I'll get you the assists. The difference is last season, he didn't track back. He stayed a little bit higher. And Ibu and Trent would win those balls back, or Ryan would step back and try and win those balls back when we're being put under pressure. They would claim the balls back and then feed into Salah, and then Salah could run, get the assist, or get the goal. So he didn't need to track back. Unfortunately, now with this right back issue, that I don't want to say it's an issue, it's just an inconsistency of Arne not sure what his best team is. And it makes so much sense because not everyone is fit, not everyone is up to match speed, not everyone is confident enough to play in their best positions at the moment. So he's got to rotate. And now that we're playing 3 games a week, it is a little bit more difficult. So changing Connor to Frimpong to Dom, it is a little bit difficult, and it's going to impact the fact that Salah's not creating chemistry with someone. So he is unfortunately going to look like the scapegoat right now because he's not making the same decisions. He's also not up to speed in terms of his crossing and stuff like that. There was one where I was even like, he shot it and it went wide of the goal. And I was like, why didn't you cross? Why didn't you cross? But when you look back at it, he didn't cross because his players were either going to get closed down or they were standing offside already. So that's why he shot. And unfortunately, he doesn't have his shooting boots on at the moment. And Salah is a very superstitious person. I don't know if you guys have realized it. He'll sometimes start the game in a long sleeve shirt and then at halftime change to a short sleeve shirt, or he'll change his boots and he mixes his boots as well. So he does it because he thinks in his head, if he changes, it might help him. And unfortunately, I don't think the changes are working for him right now. He's posting pictures back in the gym. He's not giving up. He's going to come back. He's going to go on a run. He's going to score the goals. He's going to get the assists. I just think we need to handle him with a little bit more softer hands because we are forgetting that it has been a really, really rough start to the season emotionally and mentally for the team. He couldn't go to Diogo's funeral because it was held in a church as well because of his faith. So, and he got a lot of flack for it from Liverpool fans because he didn't travel to Portugal for the funeral. He spoke about the death and he said for the first in his Instagram post about it. He said for the first time in his whole life, he's scared to come back to Liverpool. He doesn't feel like it's home because of the loss of Diogo. So, and yes, I know people are probably going to say we can't keep using Diogo as an excuse. It's been 3 months, but it does play a part. It's one of his best friends. He's also lost Nunez and Lucho. So his striking partners are gone. You know, this is his third generation, basically, of Liverpool players that he's playing with. When it comes to like Ibu, for instance, everyone is like, oh, his head is in Madrid. His head is in Madrid. He's still playing, guys. And the reason why he's looking a little bit weaker right now is because we don't have a strong midfield, because our midfield is pressing so high. And literally, Ryan and Maka, when they don't match and it doesn't click for them, also bear in mind, Maka's not fully match fit as well. When it doesn't match for them, it falls back onto Ibu and Virgil. And unfortunately, teams have seen that we are weaker on that left side, or the right side, sorry. So they're going to be attacking on that side. And when you've got your right wing back playing further up the field than Salah is, it's all going to fall back on Ibu, unfortunately. So there are issues, but I think we can fix it. I'm not giving up hope yet. Do I think the title race is over? I'm going to say no. But I think it's going to be really, really difficult for us to catch Arsenal. But at the same time, we've lost 3 games in a row, but one of them in the Champions League, 2 in the Premier League. But we're still sitting second and 1 point off from Arsenal. And I don't think it's the worst thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Rant over. Thanks.
Yeah, game week 7 is always too early to rule anyone out of a title race. I think it's just part of the entertainment circus around the Premier League is to try and make it out as if anything is a disaster or a glory, and it's always somewhere in between. Jude, how did you feel about the game? Obviously, very different emotions.
Yeah, I'm not going to rant too long. I think we played a brilliant game. I think we deserved to win. Even if it was a draw at the end, I would have still said we deserved to win. Moises Caicedo, I've been saying for a long time. And I think like majority of football fans just weren't watching Chelsea games, but I said he's one of the best midfielders in the world. And I'm glad everyone's getting to see him now turn up in big games. Not only the goal, him as a 6 he's like one of the best 6s in the world for me. Also, what a goal. nearly broke the net. I know the Liverpool defense kind of allowed him to get into that position to take a shot. What else? Estevao, also a brilliant player. When he came on, he carved out so many opportunities for Chelsea. The Enzo Fernandez hitting the post. He nearly also scored if it wasn't for Mamadashvili. He made a save. Estevao and Caicedo were the standout performers for me. Good in-game management by Enzo Maresca, dealing with the injuries of the centre backs or them going down. Yeah, they're happy with the win. Do we beat the champions of England? Yeah,
you like beating champions, don't you?
Love it.
Thing. Yeah, at the moment. Yeah, Caicedo, man. Whew, what a player.
What a player, man. Wow.
It's also important to remember that as much as the Liverpool defense and then Liverpool midfield gave him the space, the mindset that he had to take the shot, and it was hit with perfection. Absolute perfection. Like,
he also only scores bangers. If you look at his goal catalogue for Chelsea, it's just bangers all the time.
Doesn't score a normal goal. Yeah, he's got the Rosicki gene in him. Bangers only.
Yeah. But also, like, sorry, just again, he's defending, he's tackling. It's all like it's at a world-class level, to the point where there were points last season where fouls were given against him because refs just don't understand how he got the ball, but it wasn't a foul in my opinion. There were many occasions like that. So yeah, I'm glad he plays for Chelsea.
Speaking of fouls, Judy, do you think that was a legit penalty or no penalty? Either one.
Look, either one. I think they weren't penalties, both of them.
I agree. I don't think either one was a penalty.
No. It would have been very harsh if there was a penalty of those two.
I think what disappoints me is the penalty for Liverpool, for Liverpool, that was disallowed on Isak. We conceded that penalty for Galatasaray, which is almost a carbon copy, but like it's Champions League and Premier League, so different competitions, different rules, and different expectations. It's just a little frustrating, but I don't think either one of them was a legit penalty.
Yeah. Also, when Garnacho went down, I was like, dude, come on.
Oh, that man feels gravity differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
To answer your question, no, I don't think they were penalties.
I didn't see either of them as penalties either, but again, I think it's been mentioned on this podcast a lot. I don't think any of us really know what's going to happen, and I don't think any of us can predict referees anymore, or the VAR teams behind them. The VAR audio, of course, being released this week for the Gyökeres penalty incident with Newcastle, and you can hear the VAR was trying to re-referee the game and spent 2 minutes going, no, but, listen to my point of view here. It's definitely not a penalty because da-da-da-da. And then you're just sitting there going, what? Yeah, Jude, go on.
So, sorry, I don't know. Have you guys been watching the Under-20 World Cup? They're trialing something there at the moment where...
What purple card thing?
They get the green card. So each team has a certain amount of reviews in a game. It's much like cricket. So if you disagree with one of the referee's decisions, you can hoy a green card and the referee is forced to relook at his decision. I don't think there's like VAR officials at the Under-20 World Cup. It's up to the coaching staff or the captain of the teams to give a green card for the ref to relook at the footage of his decision. I think it's quite a new way to involve the video assistance for the referees.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the green card, but I saw something about a purple card, but I didn't know what it stood for.
I don't know about purple cards.
I'll search.
I know the green card.
This is all, I know a black card, and that's Nando's, but other than that, I don't know any purple cards. I missed that whole thing, to be honest. I didn't see it, but it sounds pretty interesting.
It is given to a player for dissent.
But that's also a trial at the Under-20 World Cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we just create a rainbow of different cards and no one can remember what any of them means? That's a great idea. Why don't we shift gears then? City beat Brentford 1-0. Haaland is in ridiculous form. Can he be stopped? Is he going to set another goal-scoring record this season, do we think? Is that happening?
I mean, the rate that he's going at, yes, he will another record. He's going at more than a goal a game. I think he has, 18 in all competitions? Or 19, somewhere around there. It's nearly 20 in all competitions, and we're so early on in the season. If he's going at this rate, give him the golden boot now. But also, like, with the City win, it's one of those victories where, like, City didn't play to their usual standard in terms of goal scoring. Yeah, but they got the job done, and that's like those kind of results matter in a title chasing team. So yeah, very important win on the road for City, despite not scoring as many goals as usual. But Haaland got his. So
I'm really interested to see the final stat of how little games it takes him to catch up to Alan Shearer's record, because he's definitely going to break it.
Yeah, it's
that's a big shout.
Yeah, if he stays in the league.
Because he's signed with City until 2030 something.
Yeah, I think he signed like a 9-year, £500,000 a week deal. Was it last season or the season before? I don't know.
I think it was last season, yeah.
If he plays out that contract, yeah, I have a sneaky suspicion that there will be an off-ramp eventually for him to Madrid, but we'll see.
He fits into a Madrid squad, though.
Not now, it wouldn't. No,
Culturally.
in a few years.
Yeah, I don't know if Spanish football suits him specifically. I think he's enjoying his football in England at the moment.
Yeah, no doubt.
He can score anywhere.
I think he would dominate anywhere, but poor Spanish defenses, my God, they're not known for their rigidity. What about the Newcastle game then? Newcastle winning 2-0. Did you guys see Nick Voltemada's penalty by any chance?
So that's one of the games I didn't watch. I just looked at the results of it.
Damn. It is a saucy penalty. You should definitely go get a look at a highlight of that, Jude.
I've never heard someone call a penalty saucy.
No, it was such an unusual way that he took the penalty, an unusual penalty. Like, it was almost like you would have...
The way you guys are describing it, it's like he headed the ball in from the penalty spot.
So you would have expected, the way he hit the ball, you would have expected to go straight down the middle and then swoop into the goal that way. I didn't expect it to go into the left-hand side of the goal and swoop in like that high into like straight into the back net. It was just so much power, so much confidence. And it was just a really, really beautiful penalty to see.
You'll understand when you see the highlight, Jude, but
okay,
it's a penalty that he has no right in a Premier League game to try that, really. Like, just score, that's your job. But he was like, no, my job is to entertain people, and I like that.
It reminds me of like an old school Puyol penalty.
I can't even remember Puyol penalty.
I can't remember Puyol penalties.
Oh, guys used to take such good penalties.
This one was an absolute banger. Palace are no longer unbeaten. They have fallen to the Everton sword. Palace were playing really, really well, and then Everton strike again.
Yeah, Everton's still unbeaten at
Hill Dickinson.
Hill Dickinson. I keep on forgetting the name. I just know there's a Dick somewhere in there. No disrespect, but fantastic for Everton. I'm very happy for the Everton fans. They got David Moyes back. They've got, I don't know if you saw, Jack Grealish did like an interview saying he doesn't like to play when he's told what to do in terms of playing football. And he's received the license to play football at Everton, which is beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Not going to work in a Pep system, is it really? The whole I don't like to be told what to do. I think maybe you should have thought of that before going to infamously the most structural manager ever. But there we go.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the social media that Everton's now put in their bio, Grealish for England.
Yes.
Which I think is really cute. But geez, he's enjoying his football now. He really is. I'm seeing Aston Villa Grealish back.
I think that was a clapback at Palace because they were updating their bio of how many games. Yeah. So Everton were like, yeah, we've also updated our bio.
Yeah. There was a thing it was after the game, I think Palace actually tweeted something about update your bio. And then they updated about Grealish. And our Palace have gone back to North England FA Cup champions or something to that effect. But I think on the Palace side, we need to remember that they played in Europe on Thursday. And they're not really used to that. So I think they just ran out of legs at the end of it. And
Linda was saying...
Yeah, welcome to Europe, guys. It's not easy. It's not easy playing 3 games a week.
No, it's not.
Especially on a Thursday.
No, and especially when your squad is pretty thin. They have some very good players, but they are very concentrated in a few key individuals. Semenyo then, 3-1 against Fulham for Bournemouth. Semenyo again proving everybody who backed him in fantasy this week that he was the right person to captain. My wife being one of them, me not being one of them. She continues to absolutely wipe the floor with me in fantasy. Fulham, I thought played pretty well, but the Bournemouth train continues to steam on and roll people over. Fulham are good but not great this season, and this kind of feels like a Fulham result right now. Any thoughts on the games, guys, other than Semenyo is probably on everybody's shopping list for the next transfer window or two?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in my team since the beginning. No, I lie. After I saw what he did at Liverpool, then he was in my team. They a scary team to play. I think. Why am I struggling with his name? The manager, Iraola. I think he's done a fantastic job. Top manager in terms of getting the players that you have and making them put in a shift and getting results, no matter if your defense was torn apart or not. And then just on Fulham's side, I think, when you don't have much activity in the transfer market in the off season, like, you're bound to struggle. It is what it is. Everyone around you is improving. So you're going to fall behind if you don't reinforce your squad from the previous season.
Yeah, I'm with you. You just got to sort of find a model like Bournemouth has found, where you've got a really, really fantastic first 11 and you convince everyone that it's the players, not the system. And then, like Brighton, sell them off, sell them off, sell them off, sell them off, but then just keep putting people into a system which is amazing. And then, keep rinsing all of the big clubs who buy your players, like Madrid and Dean Howson. And he's a wonderful player, don't get me wrong, but was he the money that they spent on him? Sabani, fantastic. Kirkes, fantastic. But they've all gone to clubs, and you look and you go, good, but maybe not great. So, Iraola, what a manager.
Iraola, I'll get it right.
Vaughn, any thoughts on Bournemouth and Fulham? Do you think Bournemouth are going to sustain it, or do you think they're dropping off?
I do think they'll eventually drop off. But what I am noticing generally in the Premier League this season is mid-table the general mid-table teams actually have all stepped it up a little bit. And before, especially last season, there was the top part, mid-table was mid-table, and then relegation was relegation. Like, no one really shifted up and moved around and, that sort of thing. Whereas this season, I feel like mid-table itself have really, really stepped up their game. And they're giving top 6 a run for their money. And that's why, relegation is looking so different to what we assumed it would look like, even after just 7-8 games now. Bournemouth, I do think they will taper off because they'll run out of speed once injuries come in and the season gets longer, especially in that November-January long stint where you're playing a lot of football as well. But I think they will be in a good enough position that it doesn't drop them too far down the table. Like, they'll keep the points. Like, every point now matters for them. That'll help them stay safe. So I don't think they'll finish in the top 5 or top 6, but they won't finish bottom half of the table, too far down. They won't finish below 14th, I think.
Oh, I predict them finishing maybe 7th or 8th, which might be aggressive, but yeah. It's just because so many people have European football this season that shouldn't really have it, not shouldn't really have it, but
not used to it.
Yeah, and through various formats have ended up in European competition, and I just think their squads are going to get stretched, and Bournemouth will be one of those clubs who is only playing really once a week, and they'll show why that's an advantage. Any other final thoughts this week, folks, before we wrap it up there?
Man United got a clean sheet, guys.
Oh, well done.
Because they changed their goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was a lot better, to be honest. The young lad. But yeah, I think no Man United fans on the pod this week. No.
Yeah, but it's the one time they can actually be happy.
Yeah. Well, maybe that tells you something about fandom and our addiction to crises. Or maybe they just feel like they've exercised the demon and they don't want to,
They don't want to jinx it.
Jinx it. Exactly. Well, thank you very much, as always, guys, for joining me on this podcast and chatting through yet another week of, I think, some shocks and some surprises, to be honest. And then we go into yet another international break. I'm not really looking forward to the international break, to be honest. I was kind of in the swing of things. I like my football. See each other soon. I'm not sure whether we're definitely not going to do 2 episodes a week during the international break, but we'll definitely put something out at some point next week. So until then, thank you very much for listening if you got here, and otherwise, ciao for now.
Bye.